Here's another interesting question. I have people who have been raw for... I have people. Boy, must be a very, very prestigious person. He has people or she has people. I don't have people yet. How do you get people? Who have been raw for 2 to 3 months. They are only having very soft, unformed stools. They are eating lots of greens, not too much fruit, thank goodness. Some nuts. How long should this last? No associated medical problems, no bloating, no pain, no rectal bleeding. You know, this is really a difficult answer to give because we'd have to know a lot more about the people. Let's go back and I'll give an individual story on this one. If you look back when I started to eat raw food, you know, I went from an extremely bad Western food consumer and the worst Western foods that were available, I was there eating it, to a vegetarian that consumed dairy food, to a vegan, and then to a living fooder. And I'll never forget when I made the transition from practically an exclusively cooked vegan diet, only plant foods, to a living food diet. I had a very similar reaction to these people you talk about. My stools were changed, unformed. Why? Because now I was giving my body roughage, raw, bacterially feeding roughage that literally had the life force in it to allow the bacteria to change and go back to what it was meant to be to begin with. That takes what we call a biochemical or cellular interchange period. Sometimes it takes, as it did with me, a year to 2 years because I had eaten such a horrific diet. If you go back and talk about diverticulosis, diverticulitis, there may be people who have the beginning of that or maybe even advanced stages of that. They're really going to have to take more time than a month or two to have that all switch around and change. Then you also have to know if you use certain forms of whole food probiotics, and there's a wide variety of good ones that are plant-based and non-dairy probiotics today. A lot of good can be given to a person so that the stools come together. Now, I wouldn't be so worried about soft stools. Now, watery stools are another sign, and if you have watery stools, find a competent healthcare professional, a doctor, because that may be a real sign, if that is a prolonged watery stool, of having one of these more severe irritable bowel syndrome or IBS problems.